Let's get excited. Yeah, let's get excited. All right. Hey, how you guys doing? Today I'm going to talk inspirational. But before I get into that subject or topic or however you want to say it, I want to first say Happy Father's Day to you all. Hope you all have a blessed day. I hope all is going well. And remember, today is your day. So enjoy your day. Okay, so let's talk inspirational. What does inspirational means to you? When you think about the word inspirational, what does it mean to you? Do you think about something you want to go at full force when you think inspirational? Or do you think about somebody you look up to when you think of inspirational? Or is it something you think about like, hey, I just don't know what inspirational means? Well, that's okay if you don't know, because today is today. We're going to talk about it. All right, so let's get started. Let your words be your action. So let your words be your action is part of inspirational. Okay, there is so much power in showing your actions with your words. So when your words line up with your actions, there's so much power in it, because it's like you're not just saying to be saying, you saying and you putting in the work along with the words that you say out your mouth, or with the words that you say that you're going to accomplish. You actually doing the movement to accomplish those goals, those achievements that you said that you wanted to do. So inspirational is like something that inspires you to keep going. Inspirational is like motivation to your soul. It's like motivation to your spirit. It's like motivation to your mind. It's like something that just keeps you going. Like you just don't know what it is, but it just keeps you going. It just keeps you moving forward. Everybody have their own definition of what inspirational means to them. But inspirational to me means I got to keep going. I got to keep going. This is what motivates me. This is what encourages me to keep moving forward, right? So when I say your words equal actions, what I mean is to put in the work to keep going forward. So that's the words and action. And then your actions equals your movement. So when your actions are lining up with your words, you begin to see the movement along with the progressions, right? So the movement equals showing. So once you start saying the words, you start doing the actions, and then the actions turns into the movement, and then the movement turns into showing, and then showing turns into growing, because now you're not just saying the thing, you're not just doing the thing, you actually growing into what you said you was going to do. And what you put in the word is actually showing, because not only you are seeing your growth, other people are seeing your growth as well. It doesn't matter if what other people see or not, but others seeing the growth as well, because you constantly keep going. You're not just going at one point and then you're stopping. You constantly going. Okay, so once you start growing, you start improvement. That's when the improvement come in. You starting seeing the change in you. You starting to see, well, I remember I used to do this 10 or 5 years ago or whenever, but now I don't do that no more. So let me use an example, because it's now I don't want to confuse you guys. So let me say an example. So say, for example, you might used to have this addiction of just constantly eating. You know, you just eating. And I'm not saying eating is a bad thing, but you might have an addiction. Like you might be one of those persons that just kept eating. Like you might eat like 8 times a day, right? Just 8 times a day. And knowing that that's not healthy, but you just might have been one of those people that just constantly eat. And it's like you're not getting full, but you are getting full, but your mind is telling you, I'm not full, so let's go eat some more. So with your growing and improvement coming through, you start to notice, hey, I went from 8 times a day of eating to 7 times a day to 6 times. Man, now I'm at 3 times eating. Now I'm eating good. I'm eating healthy. I'm reaching my goal. I'm improving. You get what I'm saying? Because now you started seeing the improvement in it, right? So once you start improvement, you start learning. You started learning from your old actions, your old ways, the old things you used to do. You starting learning from that. And once you can learn from it, you can teach, because you can't teach something you don't know. You can't teach something you didn't learn. So how can you teach without learning? The only way to teach, you gotta go through it. You gotta been on experience that, because it's like, how can you tell me about something you haven't went through yourself, or you haven't learned yourself? You know what I'm saying? Like, you might can give me encouragement on it. You might can give that person encouragement on it. You might can uplift them, get a motivational words, but is it really hitting when you haven't been through it? It's like you speaking, but the speaking is going to void because you haven't been through what you're speaking. So it's like, the only way you can teach, you have to learn. Meaning you have to go through that. Okay? So once you can learn, you can teach. We said that. So once you can teach, you understand the knowledge of it. You understand the background knowledge of the teaching. And knowledge comes from experience, It comes from growing and maturing and going through life. So once you get the knowledge of it, you understand the wisdom. Because you can't have wisdom without knowledge, and you can't have knowledge nor wisdom without the learning, and you cannot do the teaching of it. When I say teaching of it, you cannot teach no one wisdom or knowledge without learning it first, right? Without understanding it or grasping it first. So let's go back to inspirational. Now I'm going to ask you again, what does inspirational means to you? And before we end this video, I want you guys to see this book. It's called No More Fear by Joel. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. By Joel. No More Fear. You have the mind of Christ. You guys have to get this book. If you haven't got this book, what are you waiting on? You need to get this book. So before we end it, I want to read a chapter, well, a verse or a chapter out of here, and then I'm going to close it with a verse from the Bible, and then I'm going to let you guys out with prayer. I should have started off with prayer. And I hope I was good at explaining inspirational to you guys. I've been studying it for a little minute now. Taking some notes down on my inspirational, exactly what I want to say and how exactly I want to go about the video. But everything I wrote down, the video was completely different from what I wrote down. But it happens like that. Hey, it happens. Okay. Those victories in your past become fuel for your faith. You will know he did it for you back then, so he'll do it for you again. So just what we was talking about, that's the inspirational. Those victories in your past become fuel for your faith. You'll know he did it for you back then, so he'll do it for you again. And the he that we're talking about is God himself. Right? The same way he did it for you back then, he will surely do it for you now. So don't worry, stay encouraged, and be blessed. Okay? Video is not done yet. I have scripture I want to read. So where exactly will we want to go? Okay, we will talk about Philippians 9:31. Okay, here we go. Philippians chapter 8. Okay, so the scripture that I'm coming from is Philippians chapter 4. And we're going to start at verse 7. And I'm going to go to 8 through 9. Okay, so we're going to start with 7. And again, if you couldn't hear me, I said Philippians chapter 4, verse 7 through 9. And I'm reading from the King James Version. I have the NIV version too, but I'm reading from the King James Version today. So it starts with, "And the peace of God, which passing all understanding, should keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus." I'm going to read it again. "And the peace of God, the peace of God, which passing all understanding, should keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus." So the peace of the Lord that is in you, once you get in his presence, once you get into his presence, you begin to feel the peace of God, which passing all understanding, which, when I say which passes all understanding, which passes all degrees,